Hi, and welcome to Studio SN. My name is Sara Naumann, and today I want to show you a very simple and very effective background technique using perfect pearls and gel medium. This technique is a great one for creating a shimmery textured background on your cards. And you can see on my card right here, this blue sort of swirly effect is perfect pearls combined with gel medium. And I've simply mixed the two of them and then put them onto a piece of cardstock. It's super easy to do. So let me show you how simple it is to get this effect. So first I'm going to bring in a piece of cardstock, and this is it's not an artist grade cardstock. It's nothing that heavy, but it is a sturdy piece of cardstock because it is going to take a wet medium. So you don't want something that's going to kind of buckle or warp. Then I also need my perfect pearls, and this one is blue raspberry. And perfect pearls are, they're a mica powder, but they have a built-in binder, which means that when you mix them with water or another liquid type of material, they will adhere to whatever surface you put them on. So I'm going to mix mine with gel medium, and this is the multi-medium. This is in matte. This is from the Claudine Helmuth Studio line. And I love this little bottle too, because if you're thinking, well, I don't know if I really want to invest in a great big jar or tub of gel medium, these are really nice little kind of sampler bottles. So the first thing I'm going to do is squeeze some of this out onto my craft sheet or onto a palette of some kind. And then I'm going to add in my perfect pearls. And this is the blue raspberry. This is the shade. I'm using the end of a paintbrush or, whatever scooper method you have. And I'll just add a couple of scoops of this. Of course, the more perfect pearls I add, the more vibrant my color will be. So if you want a very faint effect, then just use less of the perfect pearls. And I'm going to mix it with a palette knife. If you're like me, you probably think, oh, I will never need a palette knife. And then you're required to get one for a class or something, and you realize that you use that palette knife all the time. And that's what happened to me. I took an oil painting class, and we needed palette knives, and I thought, I'll never use it. Guess what I use all the time? My palette knife. And they're really inexpensive too, which is nice. So now I've got my mixed up perfect pearls. You can see on the palette knife the kind of the consistency of it. It's not really drippy, but it is nice and smooth, and it's blended really quickly and really easily. So then I bring in my piece of cardstock, and I'm going to use the palette knife to not only mix it, but also to apply it. Kind of like frosting a cake. So I just swirl this onto my background, and the thicker application means that I'm going to get some kind of peaks of the gel medium. When it dries, it will actually be really nicely textured. And I've decided that I don't want to cover the entire piece of cardstock. I want to leave a bit of the border around the outside edge, just because I think it is kind of a nice effect to have that contrast. So I'll clean this up off of my craft sheet with my baby wipe. And then I've got my completed piece. Now I just need to let this sit aside to dry, and it won't take very long. But while I'm letting that dry, I'm going to bring in a piece of cardstock, and I've stamped this butterfly image on here. And the butterfly is from a set by Hot Off the Press. This is the Serendipity flowers. It's this little butterfly here. And I stamped it onto white cardstock using a permanent black ink pad. So I know that when it comes in contact with water that it won't smear all over. I'm using a plastic yogurt lid, recycled yogurt lid, and I put in a little bit of the blue raspberry perfect pearls as well as grape fizz. So I have the purple and the blue. I squirted in a little bit of water here too, using just a mini mister. And I'm working with a very, very fine tip detail brush, really, really fine tip. And I'm just going to go ahead and use this to color in my butterfly. So let me get a little bit of the purple here, dip my paintbrush into the water and pick up just a little bit of the purple because I want to dot in some of these detail areas with this, and it just makes the control so much nicer and much easier. So I'll color in various portions of this butterfly. Of course, as we've mentioned before, the more pigment you have in your mixture, The darker, the more vibrant your colors will be. So work with what you like. I'm going to dab off my paintbrush onto a baby wipe and then just come back and add some of the blue and continue coloring in until I've got my whole butterfly colored the way I want it to be. And then I just need to let that dry as well. And it won't take very long to do that. So color in my butterfly. And once I have that all colored in the way I want it, then I used a 1 3/8 inch circle punch to punch this out. And I punched it out, and then I also punched out the same size circle of gold metallic paper. So they're the same size, but when I glue them together slightly offset, then it creates a bit of a mat. So let me show you on my original card. I'll bring this in again. You can see that here's that stamped and colored in butterfly, and it's up onto my background paper. I added a little bit more of that gold metallic cardstock over on the side, only just over on the side because I didn't have very much of it left, so I was using it sparingly. I wrapped the entire piece with gold embroidery thread and then matted this stamped sentiment onto gold metallic as well. And that sentiment is from another set by Hot Off the Press called Heartfelt Greetings. So I just stamped that in black, added that up on top, and really let the background be show as much as I wanted it to, because you really only need a couple of accent pieces on here. This blue portion over here, this is a product called Shimmer Sheets. And shimmer sheets are mylar, lightweight plastic mylar piece. You can see they're super, super shiny. And this is obviously a different color, but you can see this is it embossed and this is it not embossed. So I used the textile texture embossing plate, which is an all over pattern. Just put this into the folder and ran it through my Cuttlebug. And then I ended up with a really nice textured piece. And the really interesting thing is that, you know, the shimmer sheets are very, very high shine, very reflective. And then it goes so nicely with this very subtle shine of the Perfect Pearls. And then, of course, I've got the metallic gold on here. So it's an interesting combination how all of those very high shine, glimmery types of things go together in a really complementary way. It doesn't sort of visually overwhelm you. So the gold embroidery thread has just been wrapped around here. That's another little touch of shine on here. And then I've kept really the card very tone on tone, except for the gold and a little bit of that purple showing up there. So again, it is a pretty subtle and minimalist design, which might be a little bit surprising when you think about how many very shiny elements are combined onto this single card. And then everything is just mounted up onto the front of the card, the blank card. So this is how to use Perfect Pearls and gel medium to make a textured background that has a little bit of shimmer and shine. I hope you enjoyed today's segment. For more inspiration, please do stop on by my website at saranaumann.com. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.